Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I am Abby, also known as Makeup by Delite on Instagram. Hey, hello. So for this video, I wanted to do a Valentine's look, but I wanted to do something hopefully a little bit different to what everybody else is doing. Usually for Valentine's Day, it's like really soft browns, smoky liner, really like sultry looks. But I wanted to do something a little bit brighter, a little bit peachy, I guess. And I really love the way this look turned out. I'm loving peaches at the moment. And yeah, I am just loving everything about this. The skin, the eyes, the lashes, the brows, the lip, which I don't usually go for a lip this color, but I really like it. As always, all of the products will be listed in the description box down below, as well as all of my socials. Before we get into the video, please give it a thumbs up, please subscribe to my channel as well, join my little family, and go and give me a little follow on Instagram as well. So if you want to learn how I created this peach Valentine's look, then please keep on watching. Okay, so because this is a nice, soft, pretty look, I'm gonna do all of my skin first, and I'm gonna do it on camera because I've just recently got some new products and I'm just gonna try them out for you on camera. I have used them before. I got them like a few days ago and I used them for the first time yesterday and I love them, and they are drugstore products. So the first thing I'm gonna do is my foundation. I've already prepped my skin with all of my skincare, and it's the EX1 foundation, which is now available in Boots in the UK. And I heard about this for the first time so long ago on Amanda Ensing's channel. I'm pretty sure it was this one anyway. Like, it looked like this. I'm sure it was the EX1. You just couldn't get it in the UK. So when I saw that it was in Boots, I was like, I gotta get that. And it's £12.50, so it's a really good price. You get a standard 30ml and they have really nice undertones. So I don't know if you can see, but this one is quite a yellow undertone, and all of them are fairly yellow. Although I am quite fair, my skin does have like quite an olive undertone. I am the shade 4 in this, so what I do is just take some on my little palette here. Probably do about a pump and a half, maybe even 2 pumps, and I'm just taking that on a beauty blender. And take that right up underneath the eye as well. I have already done my brows as well, just using my iconic brow cushion. But I don't want this video to be like super long, so I just did them off camera. So this foundation is more of a, I would say it's more of a medium coverage. You can build it up to a full coverage, but with just one layer it will be more of a medium, which I'm okay with. I don't mind a medium coverage. I don't break out very often, so I think that's why I don't really always go for full coverage foundations. So now I'm just going to move on to concealing my under eyes, and I'm just going to use my Tarte Shape Tape. And I'm going to use this to highlight underneath my eyes as well. Obviously it is quite a bit lighter than my foundation. I'm going to use that on my lids as well as a sort of base for my eyeshadow. I'm just going to pop a little bit around my nose here just to cover up the little bits of redness that I do get. And then I'll pop a tiny little bit just on the center of my chin, on my cupid's bow, and just in between my brows. And then I'm also just going to pop a tiny bit down the center of my nose. Then you want to take your beauty blender and just blend that out. So I'm going to start with my chin. So now I'm just going to set my concealer and my lids as well, just using my RC Mate No Colour Powder. So instead of baking, I know I've said it loads of times before, but I do just put the powder on as if I'm gonna bake, so in the same areas, but then I just keep patting it in to the skin. I feel it just makes my under eyes look less dry. So look a little bit more hydrated, which I need. And I'm just using a tiny little bit on my lids as well. Okay, so now my foundation and concealer is done, I'm going to move on to highlight, and I do have a new product to try. So the new highlight I'm going to use is the Maybelline Master Chrome in Molten Gold. So it is this one right here, so pretty. Now this one is I think it's like the lightest shade they do. They do one that's like, I think it's called Prism. And it's like white iridescent. That would be too light for me. It would leave me with like a white cast, and I think it's got like a pink tone to it. And this one is just, it's really nice, but it's just like a tiny bit too dark for me. So what I do is put this one on first. This is like the main highlight, and then just on the very, very high points, I will use my Laura Geller Gilded Honey. They are really similar, just the Gilded Honey has slight more of like a white gold shimmer in it. So I'm going to go in with the Master Chrome first. Just using that on a Morphe M510 brush, the usual one. So this one is really nice. I can just, when I turn away, you can sort of see it almost makes my skin look a little bit darker. That is just the sort of reflex when the light isn't shining on it. But again, layered with the Laura Geller, it's perfect. It's like the nicest highlight ever. And just make sure you sort of blend it down, just so you get a nice fade, so you haven't got like a solid line. And then before I put the Laura Geller on, I'm just gonna spritz my face with the De-Slick Urban Decay setting spray. I didn't really know I have this one actually, because I'm not oily, but just makes you look wet. Just pop it on the tip of my nose, down the center of my nose. Then I'm just going to apply my bronzer, and as always I'm just using my Marc Jacobs Tantric bronzer. This is my favourite all-time bronzer. It's not too warm, it's not too cool, it's the perfect shade. And what I've been doing recently is also taking this onto my cheeks a little bit as well, as sort of like a blush, because you guys know I do not fuck with blush. I don't know why, I always use it on my clients, but just on myself, it's just, I just don't do it. So I also use my bronzer to contour as well. I'm not big into doing like full-on contouring at the moment, or have been for a while actually. But I do like to just blend this up into my highlight. And then just because this brush is nice and tapered, I can really get it right into underneath my cheekbones. And I feel like it just gives me a more sun-kissed look. I know this looks really crazy right now, but I'm gonna go in and clean it all up after. Just pop a little bit on the sides of my forehead here. I don't have a huge forehead, so I don't really need to contour it, but when you wear as much bronzer as I do on your cheeks, you need to sort of balance the rest of your face out as well. Just be careful if you've got hair as light as mine that you don't get it in your hair, because it will fuck it up. And then I'm also gonna do underneath my jaw, just onto my neck a little bit as well, because we like to look bronzed, don't we? Don't we? We do. And then what I'm gonna do is I just sort of like pinch the brush a little bit to make it a little bit more tapered, and then I just go in with the very tip of the brush, tap it off any excess, and then just use that very edge just down the sides of my nose to make sure my nose doesn't get lost anywhere. amongst all that concealer and highlight. So now what I'm going to do just to clean up underneath of my bronzer slash contour is just take my beauty blender. It's got no extra product on it, and I'm just going to press that underneath. And that just like snatches you in a little bit. And then the last thing I do for my skin is I just go back in with my setting spray and I just give myself a real good spritz, and you can sort of cover your hair up a little bit. Like I've curled mine, so if I get it wet it'll be a hot mess. And that will just help to melt all the powders into the skin, make everything look a little bit more seamless. So I went ahead and did this eye off camera, and I'm just gonna do this eye for you. Obviously we did the rest of the face, and I just thought I'd cut the video down a bit by just cutting out one eye. So I am mixing a few different palettes, which I hate doing because I know that it makes the look way harder to recreate, but obviously you can just use colors that are similar if you did want to recreate this look. So the first shade I'm going to use is from the Kat Von D Pastel Goth palette, and it's the shade Clementine, which is this like peach one right here. And I'm just taking that on a Zoeva 221 brush. I'm gonna start by placing that right into the crease and bringing it all the way into the inner corner as well. And I'm gonna take that underneath the eye as well. So the next shade I'm going to take is from the ABH Prism palette, and it is the shade Eden. This is definitely one of my favorite shades at the moment. I'm loving the peaches. And I'm taking that on a Morphe M514 brush. And what I'm going to do is basically pat that onto the outer corner to start with. And then really softly just blend that through the crease. And I'm using more sort of wiggling side to side motions instead of circular blending motions, just so I can sort of help to sketch out a line into my crease. And then once I've got that sort of line placement there, I am going to just really softly blend that out. And I'm going to take that underneath the eye as well. So now I'm going to take a really tiny amount of satin from the Prism palette as well on a Morphe M506 brush, and I mean like a tiny amount, and I'm just going to tap that on the outer corner, and this is just going to make it slightly darker, but I'm just using like a really small amount because I don't want it to make it really orange, because obviously satin is a very burnt orange shade. And then I'm going to go back in with my M514 brush and just blend that out. So it barely does anything, but it just helps to give a little bit of sort of like gradation. So now just to carve out the lid slightly, I've just got a bit of my Shape Tape on the back of my hand, and I'm just taking a flat eyeshadow brush. And I'm going to carve out the same way I would usually do a half cut crease, but I'm going to keep it a little bit softer. I'm not going to do it as sharp as I usually would. Then I'm just going to take a clean brush and just buff over the edge of that concealer just to make sure it's really soft. Then for the lid colour, I'm going to go into the Anastasia Beverly Hills, the Nicole Guerriero Glow Kit, and I'm going to use the shade Daydream, which is this really nice peach highlight colour. So I'm just taking that on a flat concealer brush. This one is a 234 from Zoeva, and I'm just going to really lightly spritz that with a bit of setting spray, and I'm going to pack that onto the lid. Then I'm also just going to take a pencil brush. This is the 230 from Zeleva, and with the same shade, spritz it a little bit first. And I'm going to pack that onto the inner corner as my highlight. Okay, now just to blend this outer corner, I'm just going to go back in with Eden on my 514 brush. And I'm just going to pack that over in a sort of like downwards diagonal towards my lash line. And then I'm going to do the same with the Clementine shade. I'm just going to use the same brush. And then I'm just going to take my very tiny M506 brush and I'm just going to use a tiny little bit of satin. Just right on the outer corner. So now, because I'm not wearing any liner, I'm just going to tightline my upper waterline with my Marc Jacobs blacker highliner. And this will just make sure that when we put our lashes on, there is no gaps. And then the mascara that I'm going to be using is the new Maybelline Total Temptation Mascara. I got this a couple of days ago and so far I am loving it. The brush is really nice and the formula is really nice as well. It doesn't crumble during the day and it doesn't print underneath my eyes, which I do usually get with most mascaras. So yeah, I'm loving this. And the lashes I'm going to use are the Backstage Beauty Ladies Who Lunch. They look like this. They're like really long, really wispy. They remind me of Lily Lashes Vegas. And I'm going to apply them with no liner. So the glue that I'm using is the Black Duo. This isn't the best glue to use if you're gonna do no liner, because if you make a mistake, like you're gonna be able to see it. But it's all I have right now, so we're gonna work with it. So I'm just gluing up my lashes. The good thing about this is it doesn't take long to dry either, because this is the latex free one, so it's like a brush on. And I'm gonna use the Tarteist Pro Lash Applicator tool thingy, tweezers, to apply them. I got these because I saw Jamie Genevieve uses them in all of her videos to apply her lashes, and she said that this is definitely one of the reasons why she can always wear her lashes, like really thick lashes without liner, because she can really get them super close to a lash line. So I got them and it seems to be working, so I'm really happy. So I'm looking right down into my mirror and I'm sort of tilting the lashes upwards, and I'm going to place the middle of the band down first, and then I'll do the outer corner and then the inner corner. Now this is like the trickiest bit because you don't want this to go anywhere other than where you want it, really. So now I'm just going to let that one dry for a little bit and then I'll give it a really good pinch after, and that's what I'm going to do with this one now. So this one's been drying for a little bit. I'm just going to take the lash tweezers and just... And because you've tight lined your waterline, there you won't be able to see like any skin. So while this lash dries off, I'm just going to complete the look by finishing off my lips. And I'm going to do a peachy lip, I think. So I'm just going to line with my NYX Sandstorm liner just because it's an easy nude. It pretty much goes with most colours. And then to fill in my lips, I am going to use the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in the shade Stockholm. So this is like a really peachy nude. And then I'm also going to take the Marc Jacobs Fawn Over Me and I'm just going to pop a tiny little bit in the center. And that is the final look. I hope you like this peachy Valentine's tutorial. I wanted to try and use a few different products that I usually don't use or didn't have, because I know I use a lot of high-end makeup. That's why I wanted to get a little bit more drugstore makeup and make my looks a little bit more affordable. I hope you loved this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon as well, and that'll give you notifications every time I post. And with that being said, I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.